Hello and welcome to politicallyunbiased.com. It's Tuesday, October the 13th, and glad you could join us today. First up, I want to talk about Iran, because in the news today, Mrs. Clinton, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, went to Russia to try to get the Russians to agree to something, to agree to sanctions or to agree to some other kind of pressure against the Iranians to try to get them to agree to inspections and so on and so forth, in the hope of them getting rid of their nuclear ambition. Now, and the Russians did not offer anything. I mean, the Russians kept saying sanctions are going to be counterproductive, and which means they're not going to do anything. And I'm not surprised. We shouldn't expect the Russians, the Russians and the Chinese, they're not friends of the United States. And we're going to keep doing this dance back and forth with them. They're never going to support us putting any pressure on Iran. You see, people have to understand that these emerging powers around the world, the Russias and the Chinas and the Irans, these countries, they all want to see America fall, or they want to see America diminished. So the Russians and the Chinese, they are sitting back and watching the Iranians harass us. They want the Iranians to have a nuclear weapon because they want American power and influence to be undermined. So that's how we have to see the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like we have these countries out there willing to help the United States. We have to understand that the only reason why the United States has had power in the past is because of our economic dominance. And the reason why we've been able to achieve things around the world is because of our power. It's not because of diplomacy, or it's because people like us, or it's, people are being nice to us. That's not how the world works. I mean, I know there are a lot of people who feel that if only we're nicer and we'll achieve more and we'll get more cooperation, but that's not how it works. Each one of these emerging powers, is trying to push us down. They're challenging us. So we shouldn't expect any help whatsoever from the Russians or the Chinese. The only way, I believe Iran should not be allowed to have a nuclear weapon because Ahmadinejad is somebody very unstable. I mean, you can't, and even the people, not just him, but the whole, all the people running the Iranian system, the Ayatollahs and these guys. The only way that Iran is going to back off from having a nuclear weapon is by force. The Iranians are never going to voluntarily agree to anything. Nothing is going to make them give up that nuclear ambition. Not even sanctions, I don't believe, because they're going to find ways around it, and the countries are not cooperating anyway. I don't think we're going to have any sanctions. So this is just a dance we're doing. And I don't know why we're engaging in it, because it's not going to bring us any result. I predict to you that these other powerful countries are not going to support us, particularly Russia and China. These two countries are challenging the United States. They're envious of our superpower status. They're trying to be that superpower. My belief is the only way that the only way we can stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon is by Military means. Strike is to destroy their nuclear facilities. Now that would probably mean going to war with Iran. Now if we weren't at war with Iraq and weren't at war in Afghanistan, I would have supported going to war with Iran to eliminate their nuclear threat. Now the problem is that even now I would support it, but I don't think we have the ability to. It's going to mean opening a third front, and we don't have the troops. I mean, we may be able to, and I'm doubtful that we can even find the money because we're indebted. We're so much in debt. So I would support. I think the only way Iran is going to back off from a nuclear, from developing nuclear weapons, is by militarily defeating them. And I would have supported invading Iran if we had the troops and money to do it. Because it doesn't make sense to do it, try to do it on the cheap, and then you can't achieve whatever you want to achieve. Now the people on the left are going to say that I am warmongering and we can't possibly invade Iran and so on and so forth. Now I'm asking, what is the alternative? The alternative is Iran gets a nuclear weapon. Because none of this stuff, these dances that we're doing, and that we keep talking. I mean, this thing we've been talking since when? Since during the Bush administration, we've been talking about, we can't allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. None of this stuff works. The Iranians are going to go ahead regardless. And this other thing about them sending the materials somewhere else to be processed, I mean, that's a non-starter. I mean, how are we going to monitor that? How are we going to make sure that they comply? How do we know? We don't even know. For all we know, they may have other facilities. How do we know that they're going to pack up all the materials and send it somewhere else for processing, and not still have some and do whatever they need to do in order to develop the bomb? So that's a non-starter, and that's not workable. It's not workable at all, because the Iranians are constantly they haven't even agreed to allow people in there to inspect anything. So how do we expect them to agree to this, to shipping the thing somewhere else to be processed? It means we're going to have people in there to check. And the Iranians are not going to allow that. They're never going to allow that. You see, people have to understand that in life, you face choices. And this is what bothers me when people on the left talk about stuff like this. They don't confront the realities and the choices that we're facing. Here is the choice. It's very simple. Iran is not going to back off from developing a nuclear weapon voluntarily with anything except us destroying their ability to do so. As long as they have the ability, they're gonna develop it. None of this stuff, the dance we keep doing with the Chinese and the Russians and the UN. The Europeans, yes, we can probably count on them, because I think their eyes have been opened now, and they realize the seriousness of the threat, and they can be relied upon. But if the Chinese and the Russians are not on board, we can't achieve anything through the UN or through diplomatic means. So diplomacy is not going to stop the Iranians from getting a nuclear weapon. That's reality number one that people on the left have to accept. That's reality. I'm not, it's not theory, it's reality.